Hello, hi there again, my student. Let's continue the second part, which is basically at this slide we left just now. So this is basically to explain each individual component of the information system. So let's take a look what is there for you to understand. Okay, let's take a look. What does IS mean? What is actually IS, right? Actually, information system is an integrated component of computers equipment. For example, a server, for example, a network, for example, a router, switch, database, and I would say internet service provider all working together in order to collect, process, store, and distribute information, which is used by by managers, by supervisors, by storekeepers, or I would say even top management members, right? So that what IS is all about. This is in order for the managers to support decision makers, for example, managers or general managers or even supervisor to make decision, right, and to coordinate processes and also to control, for example, process flow, right? So that what IS is all about. Okay, the component of the word itself is information, right? So this is information versus data. So how does information differ in comparison to data? What is data? What is information? Okay, basically data are just a number, right? It is a raw fact. For example, 139.9, that is data. 7.24, that is data. Nestle is data, right? Maybank is data, right? Because it is just a character. This is a character of alphanumeric, and this is using number. So each of these is actually data. Okay. So how does it differ with information? So when you combine data and it got to be translated into information, so you need to give a more data towards it. So on 139.9, you have to add more information to that number with another data, which is Nestle. Or 7.24, you add another data to make a meaning so that it will be more informative, like Maybank. So in this set of data, right, what does it mean to you? Nestle 139.9 and Maybank 7.24. What does it mean to you think? Okay, actually, by combining data into added information, then you can only make it understand and it turn out to be a knowledge, right? It becomes a knowledge because this is a share price value of Nestle in KLSE stock exchange as far as today or yesterday, and this is the stock price for Maybank at KLSE stock exchange. So when you combine all these together, only it becomes a knowledge, right? So if you have already got this knowledge, right? For example, if you have extra money to invest, so what would be your wise decision? Which company you want to invest? For example, you are given opportunity to invest to this two company, Nestle or Maybank, and you have a lot of money. For example, 100,000 or 50,000 to invest. So your wiser decision is that you're gonna invest with the company which has a higher investment value. For example, you put your money at Nestle because their stock price is 139.9 for one stock unit, right? So the higher the price, the more potential that you can make more money. So that is a difference comparison between data, and it must be combined with another data to become a good information. And when you have understood information, then you can make as a knowledge as where you want to invest your money, right? So that is what it makes up between data and then information and later knowledge. Okay, okay, that is the basic difference. Now, if you take a look at this number, this is what they call stock ticker. Normally, if you go to KLSC boss panel, you can see a lot of this number. Actually, these number are all data. 17.47 are data, 23.32 are data, and whether the stock is moving up or moving down is notated by this negative, is going up to positive. These are all data. But how to translate this data into information? So you got to know added data so that you can combine it together to become information. So this is what information is all about. And information is system is all the core that run all the data, this data for managers to interpret and make better decision for their job and for their company or business. Okay, let's take a look between data, information, knowledge, and wisdom because we are discussing about information system. Okay, as I said earlier, we start with data. Okay, data could be number, data could be also character like A, B, C, those also data. And on this layer, like data, you need to move up one layer to make it informative or useful data. It will become information, which is interpreted by human or machines. And later you move up to another layer, it will become a knowledge, such as where to where to invest if you have a lot of money, extra money to invest. And you need to move to higher level in terms of wisdom, at which company you want to invest, which has a better return, for example, higher return and low risk. You need a wisdom. So these are all layers that accumulate to make as a big data. All right, this big data analytic can analyze data of which has been intersection, like in KL SE exchange for 4 years or 5 years. They data mine the data so that they can make better projection for the next 5 years for better strategic corporate direction, right? So these are what it means by I explained earlier: data, information, knowledge, and wisdom. Okay, nowadays big data, you have heard it once a while here and there about big data, right? In terms of like IR 4.0, Industrial Revolution 4.0, one of their big domains are big data, and big data has been applied in many applications, not only in politics, not only in banking, not only in marketing. They also applied in like football, right? In EPL, in English Premier League. So, for example, Liverpool or statistic shows how does Liverpool perform. For example, they are in their games against Fulham. For example, how many are there attacks? How many are there scores? How many are there passes? So all are using big data nowadays in order for organization like Liverpool or Fulham to perform better and better in their subsequent games. So managers use data in order to analyze their players' performance. Okay, get back to the basic. So this is your information system, IS, right? Your information system is basically a processor or computer, centralized computer that process your input data. So your data could be 331, that is data. Bright dish soap, that is another data, right? 1.29, that is another data. So computer technically cannot understand 331. Computer cannot understand bright dish soap. Computer cannot understand 129. Who understand these all data are basically human, right? Computer merely process, merely calculate and show result. That's all. And the computer normally, computer itself also cannot understand what is the data being input and what are the data being output. So if you put good data, high quality data, then computer process, you can have a good and high quality information for manager to make decision, right? This is what is all information. This is what is all IS is all about. It takes data, process it, and turn it into information for manager to interpret and, of course, make use it for decision in order to run their business. Okay, so just now you have take a look on the information system, right? Basically, it is taking input and later they put into their processor, process it, calculate it or recalculate it, and then turn it out into becoming output for manager to see and make use for their decision making. And on top of that, there is a feedback so that you could make changes. And basically, computer are consisting hardware and software, and is a related accessory system, right? In in summation, you could converge the component of information just now into this block diagram, right? This is basically your IS system. This is the whole of your IS system, right? Your server, your processor, your network, your input and output. So it has this kind of block diagram on the left, which is input. And then this input in terms of character, data, or number is being fed into the processor, like the server, or into the central CPU, and it is being processed, or it is being classified, sorted, arranged, calculated, and it turned out to be output on the screen, or output that can be printed so that manager can see and do reflection or evaluation. So on the output, there is a feedback to loop to the input, and this input will be later refed to the processor and so on. So within this IS system, actually, there are many components that are making use of the IS. For example, customer can see the pricing, customer can judge I would say, availability and so on. Supplier use information system also to check the availability stock of their product at the customer, so that if it is running low, so they can resupply. So of course, stockholder, they always check the feedback for the output in terms of their investment. The competitor also can make use of the information and the feedback as far as to adjust their next move of business strategy, right? And also regulated agency, for example, the government, KPD and KK to monitor as far as feedback is concerned. So these are all the environment that information system works for business in business environment setting, right? Okay, take for example Maybank. For example, Maybank, one of strong biggest bank in Malaysia, one of big bank in Malaysia. Basically, they use a good, updated, and most recent modern IT system, right? For example, like this, like check deposit machine, ATM or CDM, right? So these are the technology. So it needs to be complemented with the organization, which is the Maybank itself, the organizational structure, right? At the central here is the information system itself, right? And the management who manage the whole technology and the company itself. So these are the overall component that making up IS system to work properly for business organization. Okay, in terms of organizational dimension, normally it has hierarchy. For example, in the IT perspective, the hierarchy in the form of, for example, senior management, right, or middle management, for example, IT manager or operation manager, COO, chief operating officer. Those are senior management member and middle management member with respect to information system, right? So on operational level, there are, for example, system analyst, programmer, or IT manager. So these are operational management. Knowledge workers are, for example, like programmer, system analyst. Data workers are the clerk that input data, or people who are key in data by using their keyboard or barcode scanner and so on. Production and service worker, people that are servicing or maintaining the IT equipment or IT device at bank. Okay. So as far as category in terms of layer, of course, in the IT users, basically most people that use IT system are basically operational management. Those at the middle managers like IT manager, marketing manager, production manager that use IT system are considered knowledge workers. And of course, this is top management, and normally they use a very specific application of IT system. For example, executive information system or decision support system, DSS, they are at this kind of level, and those are basically categories of IT in the whole business organization. For example, just like Fujitsu. Okay, in organizational dimensions, there are many departments in each organization or company. There are many departments. For example, the 4 key departments or strategic business unit, basically sales and marketing, human resource, finance, account, and also production and manufacturing and engineering. So these are key 4 departments that exist in business organization, and they are all using IT system, the same IT system for maintaining their business performance. Okay, and this diagram shows the MI's business function. Normally, they have a centralized database, for example, like IT center at UTHM, right? Our registrar, our finance office using the same centralized database, same as sales and marketing. They also referring the same database. HR department, they also using worker record, benefits, salary, using the same database. And as far as manufacturing, they also referring to the same database to maintain their material, inventory, stock, shipment delivery, lead time, purchases, and so on. Okay, those are the central core and function of MIS is very critical in order to maintain all the strategic business unit as far as each department is concerned. Okay, normally managers set organization strategy, and they must adapt and respond, adjust to existing business challenge. Okay, and we already know that normally information system are consisting hardware, software, database technology like DBMS or SQL, sequential query language, which is database programming language, right? We need network and also IT broadband service and so on. Okay, let's take a look at one good example of I would say logistic delivery company in the form of UPS. UPS is American and global company that deliver goods. It is a logistic company, right? UPS stand for United Parcel Service. Okay. Okay, UPS tracking system, because they are in logistic, normally they have to track their parcel delivery from, for example, to US, to Europe, or from Japan to Malaysia. So they need to track their parcel tracking, right? So for customer to be updated when to expect to accept or receive their delivered ordered products, right? So UPS is one good logistic company with a good, modern, and updated IT system for tracking delivery and also logistic management. Let's take a look short for a while on their video clip how their IT system can contribute to high efficiency and excellence in operation.
Delivering the best customer service means more than timely pickup and delivery. Our customers need the most current and accurate package tracking information possible. To ensure that, UPS developed the Delivery Information Acquisition Device, the DIAD. In 1991, UPS revolutionized the package delivery business. Developed and deployed the first DIAD. More than a decade later, UPS continues its pioneering development efforts with the 4th generation DIAD 4. To ensure maximum flexibility in the field, DIAD 4 incorporates new radio communication links that allow it to communicate almost anywhere, anytime. A built-in GPRS or CDMA radio, ensuring worldwide, and a Bluetooth wireless personal area network and an infrared port to communicate with peripheral devices. Delivery information is sent to UPS as soon as it's entered. Drivers simply scan the package barcode, electronically collect the receiver's signature, type in the last name, and push a single key to complete the transaction and send the data. The DIAD 4 incorporates a color screen, which displays information in an easy-to-read, attractive manner to customers. The color screen also enables UPS to color code messages. Urgent customer pickup messages, for example, can be color-coded to alert the driver. Direction to pickup and delivery points in order to improve customer service, particularly outside the United States. The powerful software behind the Dyad 4 enables dispatchers and center management to access the driver throughout the day with text messages. In addition to their list of predefined customer pickup locations, customer service has been enhanced even further. The Dyad now informs the driver if all the packages designated for a particular customer haven't been unloaded from the truck. It will also notify the driver if the package is being delivered to the wrong address. The Dyad 4 is the most comprehensive tracking device in the delivery industry, combining data collection and transmission technologies, digital signature capture, extensive expandable memory, and hard falls. The multiple options of the Dyad 4 ensure maximum flexibility for UPS drivers, ultimately resulting in customers having the most up-to-the-minute tracking information available at all times. At UPS, business always drives technology.
Okay, there you go. UPS using IT device in order to have excellent operational performance, right? So it is a good organization, it's good team, good management, and also supported with good, excellent, and fast IT system like Dyad. It is a handheld computer, it's barcode scanner, network, and so on. So that is how UPS maintaining their edge leadership in logistic business. It is enable and make it strong with a good IT system. Okay, so some perspective on information system. Now you could do reflection. You can have a good understanding. Now basically IT will contribute productivity, right? Will contribute to better productivity or increase your job productivity, in which you can produce more output given the same resources with a shorter time. And definitely by achieving higher productivity, your company could generate more income, and at the same time more revenue generated for your business. And by having IT system, you could have a better strategic positioning or better competitive advantage in comparison to your competitor, because you have a faster system, you have a better system, and IT will enable that kind of competitive edge. Okay, so business information basically is a value chain. Basically, it is a chain of value, right? From collecting data, transferring data, and then it goes to the business supply, business process, supply chain. It goes to the company, and then managing customer, and then managing knowledge of customer and supplier. Or that IT business information can be used for planning within the organization, internally coordinating or controlling, and also for better decision making. So all this contribute to the company profitability, company profitability, and also strengthening a company position as a good performer in the industry, which is enabled by IT system. Okay. So investing, why we must consider strongly to invest in IT, right? Because some of the investment are good, but some of the investment may not be so good, right? If it is not managed properly. Okay, here is a summary of quadrant that shows that investment is IT, right? Sometimes give good return, sometimes it may not give good return. It depends on how people are adopting and adapting the system into their business process. Okay, for example, this quadrant is basically you don't have to invest that much investment, maybe just medium type of investment, right? This quadrant one, but you achieve highest return in terms of profit or in terms of benefit that you receive from that investment. This is quadrant one, right? Investment low but high return. Over here, quadrant two, some company they invest very high, and like this 8 million and so on, or 10 million, but they also achieve high return, high investment, high return. Whereas in quadrant one, it is reasonably middle investment, not so high, but they have higher return. For example, this company. Okay, and quadrant two, high investment, for example, this company, right? And it has a good also high return. However, poorly, this is the quadrant 3, in which you have low investment of IT, and then yet you achieve low return, right? There are many companies in this kind of category, right? And there are also some company in which they invest high, but they have low return. So such company also exists, which is this part, right? Of course, the best part is basically company that invest low but high return. For example, this one, but not many companies achieve that. You can see from the dots like this, right? The one dot means a sample from one company, okay, and respectively on quadrant 2 and so on, right? Next. Okay, complementary asset. This is basically another additional asset to make your IT system works successfully, right? You got to follow a appropriate business model, and this is the sum up of your, I would say, system, which is MIS, Management Information System. In order it is to perform successfully, in it both approach, the technical approach, right, which is the orange segment, and also behavioral approach in the form of this blue segment, right? For MIS to be successful, example in the form of IT system or ERP, enterprise resource enterprise resource planning system, you need all these component, technical and behavioral to make it work. For example, you have a new ERP system in the form of software like SAP or Oracle. So you need those people which is good in programming, system analysts to run that MI system in your company. You need good managers who manage well in terms of hardware and software in order to operate the Oracle or the SAP system, right? You need people also from the operation research for example, marketing, for example, in the selling or in approaching customer in order to maintain the MI system for keeping the market, right? And you need this behavioral approach as far as the psychology approach. For example, manager need to have a good approach in managing their subordinates, for example, the employees, in order to them to cooperate well with the leader or the manager. So the economics, which is the profitability and loss by IT investment, also being influenced by the investment and also return that the company can receive. And sociology, how employee interact with each other, or how for example, engineer interact with managers, and how managers interact with CEO, and on top of that, how CEO also interact socially with managers and also engineers and other employees. So all these will make up or influence the outcome of the performance of your IT system or MIS system. Okay, it is based on technical approach, right? Because IT needs the programming and the mathematical model, and IT also needs a programmer. Programmer are also human, so they must behave wisely with other friends or other programmers or even engineers, so that the IT can work right and work properly. Okay, so again, for factors that sum up how the IS will work, basically in its hardware and software, in its the business firm, managers and employees, and also environmental context in terms of legal, like the regulation, law, social consideration, and also cultural context, right? So this is the sum up of my lecture. Basically, it will sum up into social and technical model. So believe me that IS system is not able to work merely by hardware and software. It needs the human, the programmer, the manager to run it, to manage it. It needs the socialization among the managers of different departments that are using the same system, from production to purchasing to human resource to finance. They are all socialized together in order to maintain such a IT system to work properly and successfully for their business. Okay, these are the combination of technology and organization in which they must alternatively work together or exchange or feedback each other to make sure the MIS system or information system to work towards the best outcome that they can contribute after the company highly invest on the IT system itself. Okay, guys and girls, this is about 30 minutes of the second part, and I would like to thank you for your attention and attendance in today's lecture this morning. Now, we could adjourn this session. So again, thank you for your participation. Until I see you next time. Thank you again.